The night was a velvet shroud over the Nevada desert, the kind of darkness that swallowed sound and sight, leaving only the hum of F-18 Hornets slicing through the sky. Lieutenant Commander Amara Viper Cade, a 34-year-old veteran pilot with eyes like polished obsidian, gripped the stick of her jet, her breath steady but her pulse racing. She was leading Raptor Squadron, a tight-knit unit of Navy aviators, on a routine patrol over a restricted airspace known only as Zone 7. The mission brief had been vague: monitor for unauthorized activity, report anomalies, engage only if necessary. But something felt off. The radio chatter was too quiet, the stars too still. At 200 hours, a flicker caught Viper's eye. A pattern of infrared flares bloomed in the distance, pulsing in a sequence she hadn't seen since her classified training a decade ago. 3 short bursts, one long, 2 short. Black Ops, her stomach tightened. That signal wasn't just rare, it was a ghost, a code used by units that didn't officially exist. She toggled her comms, voice low. Raptor lead to squadron, hold position. Unidentified signal at grid 319. Confirm visual. Raptor 2, negative, came the reply, tinged with skepticism. Lieutenant Jace Hawk Torrance, her wingman, had a reputation for questioning her calls. Probably just a glitch, Viper. Let's not chase shadows. Negative, Hawk, I know what I saw. Her tone was steel, but doubt gnawed at her. She fought for respect in a male-dominated squadron, her record 2 tour in the Middle East, 300 combat hours, overshadowed by whispers of her being too cautious. She was precise, and now her instincts screamed that this wasn't a drill. The squadron held formation, their F-18s gleaming under moonlight, twin tails cutting sharp silhouettes against the sky. Viper's jet, adorned with a faded Viper insignia on its nose, felt like an extension of her. She'd earned her call sign after a mission in Syria, outmaneuvering a SAM battery with a move so bold it became legend. But legends didn't erase the side-eyes from younger pilots like Hawk, who saw her as a relic of older wars. She scanned the horizon, the flare pattern gone. Had she imagined it? No. Her gut, honed by years of split-second decisions, told her otherwise. Raptor lead to base, requesting intel update on Zone 7 activity. Possible Black Ops signature detected. The response crackled through her headset, clipped and dismissive. Base to Raptor lead, no record of activity. Maintain patrol and report deviations. Viper's jaw clenched. Typical. She was used to being underestimated, her calls questioned. But the flares weren't a mirage. Somewhere below, in the labyrinth of canyons and classified bunkers, something was moving, something big. She adjusted her throttle, the jet's roar a low growl, and led her squadron closer to the truth, unaware that this night would redefine her legacy. The desert below was a patchwork of shadows, carved by ancient rivers long dried. Viper's F-18 cruised at 20,000 feet, its cockpit a cocoon of glowing dials and soft vibrations. Her squadron trailed in a diamond formation, 4 jets slicing through the thin air, their exhausts trailing faint contrails like whispers of their presence. The silence on the comms was heavy, broken only by the occasional check-in. Raptor 3, fuel at 70%, murmured Lieutenant Alina Sparrow Voss, her voice calm but edged with curiosity. Sparrow was the newest, eager but green, always watching Viper for cues. Viper's eyes flicked to her radar. Nothing. No blips, no signatures. Yet the memory of those flares burned in her mind, a puzzle she couldn't shake. Black Ops didn't signal unless they wanted to be seen. Were they baiting her, testing her? She'd seen enough in her career, covert extractions, drone swarms, missions erased from logs, to know the military kept secrets even from its own. Her fingers tightened on the stick, the Viper insignia on her helmet glinting faintly in the cockpit's glow. Raptor lead, you sure about this? Hawk's voice cut through, laced with that familiar condescension. Chasing flares sounds like a ghost hunt. We've got better things to do. Viper's lips pressed thin. Hawk was good, cocky but good. His jet, painted with a stylized hawk clutching a missile, screamed bravado. But he hadn't seen what she had in Syria, hadn't felt the weight of decisions that left scars. Hawk stoic, If I say we check it, we check it. Her voice was a blade, sharp and final. She banked left, leading the squadron toward Grid 319. The terrain below shifted, jagged peaks giving way to a flat expanse dotted with faint lights, unmarked facilities, rumored to house DARPA projects or worse. Viper's mind raced. Her father, a Vietnam-era pilot, had warned her about ghost signals, codes meant to lure or warn. He died in a crash labeled mechanical failure, but she'd always wondered, was this connected? Base, this is Raptor Lead, requesting clearance to descend to 10,000 for visual recon. The reply was slow, bureaucratic. Negative, Raptor Lead. Maintain altitude. No unauthorized activity reported. Viper's jaw tight. She wasn't asking permission. Copy, base, adjusting for optimal scan. She eased her jet lower, the others following, their trust in her wavering but holding. The desert loomed closer, its secrets hidden in the dark. Then a flicker on her HUD, a faint thermal signature moving fast. Not a jet, not a drone, something else. Raptor Squadron, eyes on. Bogey at 11 o'clock, low and fast, she said, her voice steady but her heart pounding. The game had changed. Whatever was down there wasn't just black ops. It was something no one was supposed to see. And Viper was flying straight into its shadow. The F-18s descended, their engines a low thunder rolling across the desert. Viper's cockpit vibrated with the controlled chaos of flight, her instruments casting a green glow across her face. The thermal signature on her HUD darted erratically, too small for a manned craft, too fast for a conventional drone. Her mind cataloged possibilities, experimental tech, foreign incursion, or something classified even above her clearance. She toggled her night vision goggles, the world below transforming into a ghostly green sea of dunes and rock. Raptor 2, confirm visual on bogey, she said, her voice clipped, professional. Hawk's response was slower this time, his bravado tempered. Raptor 2, faint visual, looks like, I don't know, Viper. It's moving like nothing I've seen. Stay sharp. Weapons hold unless I say otherwise. Viper's orders were firm, but her mind churned. The flare pattern, the bogey pieces of a puzzle she didn't yet understand. Her squadron's jets fanned out, their sleek fuselages catching moonlight, each pilot scanning the darkness. Sparrow's voice crackled through. Raptor 3, picking up intermittent M spikes, could be a jammer. Viper's eyes narrowed. Jammers meant someone was hiding something. She thought of her last tour, a night mission over the Persian Gulf where a rogue signal had nearly cost her squadron. She pulled them through, but the memory of burning wreckage lingered. She shook it off, focusing on the present. The bogey was diving into a canyon, its path erratic but deliberate, like a fox dodging hounds. Raptor lead to base, we have a confirmed unidentified craft, requesting engagement protocols. The response was immediate, sharp. Raptor lead, stand down, do not engage, return to patrol altitude. Viper's gut twisted, stand down, with a bogey this close to restricted airspace. She glanced at her Viper insignia, a talisman of her resolve. Her father's voice echoed in her mind, trust your instincts, Amara. The brass don't always know what's out there. She made her call. Raptor Squadron, pursue at 8,000 feet. Stay tight, eyes open. Hawk's protest was instant. Viper, you're pushing it, Base said. Base isn't flying this mission, Hawk, I am. Her tone silenced him. The squadron dropped lower, the canyon walls rising like jagged teeth. The bogey's signature flickered, then vanished. Viper's pulse spiked. Lost contact. Sparrow, run a sweep. Helix, check for cloaking tech. Lieutenant Marcus Helix Reed, Raptor 4, chimed in, his voice steady. Running diagnostics. Nothing yet, but this feels like DARPA's backyard. Helix was the tech nerd, always tinkering, always curious. Viper trusted him to find answers. The canyon narrowed, the jet's wings nearly kissing the walls. Then a new signal, a faint radio burst, encrypted on a Black Ops frequency. Viper's blood ran cold. The voice was distorted, mechanical but clear. Viper, stand down, you're not cleared for this. Someone knew her call sign. Someone was watching, and they were close. The F-18s hugged the canyon's contours, their afterburners glowing like twin suns in the night. Viper's hands were steady on the controls, but her mind raced. That voice on the radio, how did they know her? The encrypted burst had come from the bogey's last position, now a silent void on her radar. She scanned the canyon below, its walls a maze of shadows in her night vision display. The air felt charged, like the moment before a storm. Raptor Squadron, Titan formation. Helix, any luck on that signal? She asked, her voice a calm anchor in the rising tension. Raptor 4 working on it, Helix replied, his tone focused. Signals scrambled, but it's definitely military grade. Could be a prototype drone with comms spoofing. Or something worse, Sparrow muttered, her rookie nerves showing. Viper didn't reprimand her. Fear was a teacher and Sparrow was learning fast. Hawk's voice cut in sharp. Viper, this is nuts. We're flying blind into a canyon chasing a ghost signal. Base is gonna have our asses. Then let them, Viper snapped. We don't leave threats unchecked. Her words carried the weight of her past, a crash in Iraq, her wingman's jet spiraling into the sand. She vowed never to hesitate again. The Viper insignia on her jet seemed to pulse, a reminder of who she was. The canyon widened, revealing a flat basin dotted with faint structures, unmarked hangars maybe or bunkers. Viper's HUD pinged. Another thermal spike, this time stationary near a cluster of rocks. Raptor lead, eyes on target. Ground signature 2 o'clock. Prepare for low pass. Copy lead, Sparrow said, her voice steadier now. The squadron dipped, their jets roaring over the basin. Dust swirled below, caught in the moonlight. Viper spotted it then, a sleek angular craft barely visible, its surface absorbing light like a black hole. Not a drone, not a jet, something new. Raptor 2, you seeing this? She asked. Hawk's reply was a low whistle. What the hell is that thing? Before Viper could respond, her comms crackled again. Viper, abort, you're compromising a classified op. The voice was clearer now, human, urgent. Her skin prickled. She toggled her mic. Identify yourself now. Silence. Then a new sound, a low hum rising fast. The ground signature moved, the craft lifting silently, no engines, no rotors. Viper's heart pounded. Raptor Squadron climbed to 12,000, weapons free if engaged. Viper, you sure? Hawk's voice held a new tone, less mockery, more caution. Dead sure. She pulled her jet up, the G-forces pressing her into her seat. The mystery craft followed, matching their climb with eerie precision. Its silhouette was wrong, alien, its edges blurring against the sky. Viper's mind flashed to her father's stories of unexplained sightings, dismissed as paranoia. Was this what he'd seen? The squadron leveled out, the desert a dark sea below. The craft was gone again, but Viper knew it was still there, watching, waiting. She wasn't just flying a mission now, she was unraveling a secret that could change everything. The sky stretched endless above, a canvas of stars punctured by the F-18's contrails. Viper's squadron held altitude, their jets a tight constellation against the night. Her eyes darted between her HUD and the horizon, searching for the mystery craft. Its last maneuver, silent, impossibly smooth, had shaken her. She'd flown against MiGs, dodged missiles, but this was different. This was beyond her training, beyond her world. Raptor lead to base, we have a confirmed unidentified craft, non-standard propulsion. Request immediate backup and intel. Her voice was steady, but her grip on the stick betrayed her tension. Base's response was a wall of static, then a curt, Raptor lead negative on backup. Return to patrol route. That's an order. Viper's jaw clenched. Orders be damned, she wasn't turning back. Raptor Squadron maintain 12,000. Helix, keep scanning for that signal. Sparrow, watch our 6. Copy lead, Sparrow said, her voice gaining confidence. Nothing on my scope yet. Helix chimed in. Got a faint M pulse bearing 270. It's intermittent, like it's masking itself. Viper nodded to herself. Masking tech wasn't new, but this level of sophistication was. She thought of her early days at Top Gun, the instructors mocking her methodical approach, calling her Viper for her calculated strikes, not her speed. She'd proved them wrong mission after mission. Now that same precision kept her focused as the unknown loomed. The radio crackled again, unprompted. "Viper, you're in over your head. Disengage." The voice was male, older, with a faint accent she couldn't place. Her blood ran cold. They knew her name, her call sign. This wasn't random. "Who is this?" she demanded. "Identify or we engage." No response, just the hum of her jet and the soft beeps of her instruments. Hawk's voice broke the silence. "Viper, this is getting weird. Maybe we should." "Negative, Hawk, we stay on it." Her tone was iron, but doubt flickered. Was she leading her squadron into a trap? She glanced at her Viper insignia painted on her console, a gift from her father before his crash. It grounded her. She wasn't chasing ghosts, she was chasing truth. A new blip appeared on her HUD, faint but closing fast. "Bogey at 3 o'clock, 10 miles out. Raptor squadron, prepare to intercept." The jets banked right, their movements synchronized, years of training kicking in. The craft reappeared, a dark triangle against the stars, no lights, no heat signature now. It was taunting them. "Lock on but hold fire," Viper ordered. Her targeting system struggled, the craft's outline flickering like a mirage. Sparrow's voice trembled. "Viper, my lock's failing. It's like it's not there." "Stay calm, Sparrow, visuals only." Viper's mind raced. This wasn't just tech, it was a message. Someone wanted her to see this, to follow. But why her? The flares, the voice, the craft, it all pointed to something personal. And as the desert sky swallowed her squadron, Viper felt the weight of a legacy she didn't yet understand. The F-18s screamed across the sky, their afterburners painting fleeting streaks of fire. Viper's cockpit was a symphony of alerts, radar pings, fuel warnings, the steady hum of her jet systems. The mystery craft was still out there, a shadow dancing just beyond her sensors. It was playing with them, staying close enough to taunt but too elusive to pin down. Her squadron's formation was tight, but she could feel their unease through the calm silence. "Raptor lead, I've got nothing," Helix said, frustration creeping into his voice. "This thing's got stealth tech I've never seen. No no thermal, just nothing." "Keep trying," Viper replied, her eyes locked on the horizon. The craft had vanished again, but its presence lingered like a predator's stare. She thought of her father's journal, found after his crash, filled with cryptic notes about unseen wings and lights in the void. She dismissed it as grief-driven obsession. Now she wasn't so sure. Hawk's voice cut through, softer now, less defiant. "Viper, you really think this is worth it? We're burning fuel and base is pissed." She hesitated. Hawk wasn't wrong, disobeying orders could end her career. But the flares, the voice, the craft, it was all too deliberate. "Hawk, if we back off now, we'll never know what this is. You want that on your conscience." A pause, then, "Negative lead, I'm with you." It was the first time Hawk had deferred without a fight. Viper's chest tightened, not with pride but with the weight of their trust. The desert below was a black mirror reflecting only stars. Viper's HUD flickered, then lit up. The craft was back, climbing fast, heading straight for them. "Raptor squadron, evasive, break formation," she barked. The jets scattered, their wings tilting sharply as the mystery craft shot past, a blur of dark metal and impossible speed. Viper caught a glimpse, smooth, triangular, no visible engines. Her stomach dropped. This wasn't human tech. "Viper, it's circling back," Sparrow called, panic edging her voice. "Hold steady, Sparrow, track it visually." Viper banked hard, her G-suit squeezing her legs as the jet pulled 6 GS. The craft was on her tail now, matching every move. Her training kicked in, decades of muscle memory, honed in dogfights over hostile skis. She rolled left, then dove, trying to shake it. The craft followed, effortless, silent. "Raptor lead, this is base," crackled the radio, furious. "You are out of bounds. Return immediately or face court-martial." Viper ignored it. The craft was too close, its intent unclear. Was it hostile? A test? She toggled her weapons system, missiles armed but not locked. "Unknown craft identify or be engaged," she broadcast on an open frequency. The response was instant, chilling. "Viper, you were warned." The voice was closer now, almost intimate. Her mind flashed to her father's last mission, his jet found intact but empty. Was this what he'd chased? The craft banked away, vanishing into the night. But Viper knew it wasn't gone. It was waiting. The F-18s regrouped, their engines a steady roar against the silent desert. Viper's heart pounded, her breath fogging the edges of her oxygen mask. The mystery craft had vanished again, leaving only questions and a faint hum in her headset like a ghost signal lingering. Her squadron was rattled, Sparrow's breathing was audible over the comms, Helix's scans were frantic, and even Hawk's usual swagger was muted. They were in deep, and Viper felt the weight of every decision. "Raptor Squadron status check," she said, her voice a lifeline in the dark. "Raptor 2 green," Hawk replied, his tone clipped but steady. "Raptor 3 green, but my nerves are shot," Sparrow admitted. "Raptor 4 green, still no lock on that thing," Helix added. Viper nodded to herself. "Stay sharp, it's not done with us." She adjusted her course, heading toward the last known position of the craft. The desert below was a labyrinth of canyons and mesas, hiding secrets she was determined to uncover. Her Viper insignia, etched into her flight suit, felt like a talisman, grounding her resolve. The radio crackled with static, then a new voice, female, calm, authoritative. "Raptor Lead, this is Echo 1. You're entering restricted airspace. Disengage immediately." Viper's brow furrowed. "Echo 1. No such call sign existed in her chain of command. Echo 1, identify your authority. This is a Navy operation." A pause, then. "You're not cleared for this, Viper. Turn back." The voice knew her call sign just like the other. Her skin prickled. This was no coincidence. "Negative, Echo 1. We're pursuing an unidentified craft. Provide credentials or stay out of my way." Viper's defiance was calculated. She needed answers, and she'd push until she got them. Hawk's voice broke in. "Viper, you're poking a hornet's nest. Maybe we listen." "Stow it, Hawk, we're committed." Her tone was final, but her mind churned. The craft, the voices, the flares, it was a web, and she was caught in it. Her father's journal flashed in her memory. "They watch from the sky. They know our names." She thought it was madness. Now it felt like prophecy. A new blip appeared on her HUD, closer this time. The craft was back, hovering low over a mesa. Viper's pulse spiked. "Raptor Squadron, low pass 5,000 feet. Visuals only, no engagement." The jets dove, their shadows rippling over the desert. The craft was clearer now, a sleek triangle, its surface rippling like liquid metal. It didn't move, didn't react, just sat there watching. "Viper, that's no drone," Helix whispered. "That's something else." She didn't respond. Her eyes were locked on the craft, its stillness unnerving. Then a flash, another flare pattern identical to the first. 3 short, 1 long, 2 short. Black ops. But whose? The craft lifted, slow and deliberate, and Viper's instincts screamed. This was the moment. Whatever it was, it wanted her to follow. And she would. The F-18s roared over the mesa, their engines shaking the night. Viper's eyes were glued to the mystery craft, its liquid metal surface glinting faintly under the stars. It hovered, motionless, as if daring her to approach. Her squadron's jets flanked her, their formation a silent vow of loyalty despite the tension crackling through the comms. She could feel their doubt, their fear, but also their trust. She earned it mission by mission, and she wouldn't let them down. "Raptor Squadron, hold 5,000 feet. Helix, any new readings?" Viper asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her veins. "Raptor 4 picking up faint magnetic distortion," Helix replied. "It's like this thing's bending the air around it. No heat, no M signature, it's unreal." "Real enough to chase us," Sparrow said, her voice tight but focused. Viper's HUD flickered, the craft's outline pulsing erratically. She toggled her night vision, the world below a green haze. The craft was moving now, slow, deliberate, heading deeper into the desert. "Raptor, lead to squadron, we're pursuing. Stay tight, weapons hold." Hawk's voice was low, almost respectful. Viper, you're calling the shots, but this thing's playing us. You sure about this? She wasn't sure, not entirely, but doubt was a luxury she couldn't afford. We don't back down, Hawk, not now. Her father's words echoed. The sky never lies, Amara, trust it. She glanced at her Viper insignia, its coiled form a reminder of her strength. The craft accelerated, skimming the desert floor, weaving between canyons with impossible precision. Viper pushed her jet to match, the G-forces pressing her into her seat. Her squadron followed, their jets' roars echoing off the canyon walls. The craft was leading them somewhere, maybe a trap, maybe a revelation. Either way, Viper was all in. Raptor lead, this is Echo 1. The female voice cut in again, urgent. You're approaching a no-fly zone. Disengage or we will intervene. Viper's jaw tightened. Echo 1, you've got no authority here. Identify or we treat you as hostile. Silence followed, heavy and ominous. She didn't trust this Echo 1, but their warnings confirmed one thing: they were close to something big. The craft dove into a narrow canyon, its edges brushing the walls. Viper followed, her jet, wings tilting to avoid the rock. Stay sharp, squadron, this is it. The canyon opened into a hidden valley, and there it was, a massive, unmarked facility, its lights dim but unmistakable. The craft slowed, landing silently on a pad near a hangar. Viper, you seeing this? Hawk's voice was hushed, almost reverent. Yeah, she whispered. The facility was no rumor, it was real, and the craft was its guardian. Her mind raced. Black Ops, DARPA, something else entirely. The Viper on her jet seemed to coil tighter, urging her forward. Whatever this was, it knew her name, and she was about to find out why. The valley was a fortress of shadows, the unmarked facility sprawling beneath the desert sky. Viper's F-18 circled low, her squadron trailing like hawks on a hunt. The mystery craft sat on the landing pad, its surface shimmering, absorbing light like a void. No guards, no turrets, just silence, thick and unnatural. Viper's instincts screamed trap, but curiosity burned hotter. This was no ordinary black site. Raptor squadron, hold pattern at 4,000 feet, she ordered, her voice a low hum over the comms. Helix, scan for defenses. Sparrow, watch for movement. Raptor 4, scanning, Helix said. Picking up low-level M fields but no weapon signatures. This place is locked down tight. Raptor 3, no visual on personnel, Sparrow added, her tone steadier now, mirroring Viper's calm. Hawk's voice was quieter, cautious. Viper, this feels wrong. No guards, no response. It's like they want us here. Maybe they do, Viper replied, her eyes locked on the facility. The craft hadn't moved, its stillness mocking her. She thought of her father's journal, his sketches of strange craft, his warnings about eyes in the sky. She buried those memories, but they clawed back now, sharp and vivid. Raptor lead to Echo 1, she broadcast, testing. You've got 10 seconds to explain this facility or we assume hostile intent. No response. Just static, then a faint hum like the craft itself was listening. She banked her jet, the Viper insignia catching the moonlight. Her backstory wasn't just a pilot's tale, it was a wound. Her father's crash, ruled an accident, had left her with questions no one answered. She joined the Navy to prove herself, to outfly his ghost. Now that ghost was here in this valley in that craft. Raptor lead, I've got something, Helix said suddenly. Faint signal from the hangar, encrypted, same frequency as the craft's burst. Decode it, Viper snapped, her pulse quickening. The facility's lights flickered, a pattern almost like the flares. 3 short, 1 long, 2 short. Her breath caught. It wasn't just a signal, it was a call meant for her. Viper, we should bug out, Hawk said, his voice tight. This is above our pay grade. Negative, we're not leaving until I know what this is. Her tone was iron, but her hands trembled slightly. The craft below pulsed, its surface rippling. Then a hatch opened, revealing a faint glow. No figures emerged, just the light beckoning. Raptor squadron, prepare for ground recon, Viper said, her decision made. We're landing. Landing, Sparrow's voice cracked. Viper, that's my call, Sparrow, trust me. She didn't look at her squadron, didn't need to. They follow. The facility loomed, its secrets waiting. Viper's jet descended, the desert dust swirling beneath her. The Viper on her helmet gleamed, a symbol of her past and her purpose. Whatever was down there knew her name, her story, and she was ready to face it no matter the cost. The F-18s touched down on the desert floor, their landing gear kicking up clouds of sand that danced in the moonlight. Viper's jet settled first, its engines winding down to a low whine. The facility loomed ahead, a monolith of concrete and steel, its lights pulsing faintly in that haunting pattern, 3 short, 1 long, 2 short. Her squadron's jets flanked hers, their pilots silent but tense, waiting for her lead. Viper unstrapped her harness, her Viper insignia a quiet anchor in the chaos. "Raptor Squadron, dismount and secure the perimeter," she ordered, her voice steady despite the unknown. "Helix, keep scanning. Sparrow, Hawk on me." "Copy, lead," Helix said, already pulling his gear from the cockpit. Sparrow and Hawk followed, their movements quick but cautious. The desert air was cold, sharp with the scent of dust and metal. The mystery craft sat nearby, its surface still, almost expectant. Viper's hand rested on her sidearm, a reflex from years in combat zones. Hawk scanned the facility, his rifle raised. "This place is too quiet, Viper. No guards, no drones, it's creepy as hell." "Or it's exactly what they want us to think," Viper replied, her eyes on the craft. Its hatch was still open, the glow within pulsing softly. She stepped closer, her boots crunching on the sand. The air felt heavy, charged, like the moment before a lightning strike. "Viper, I've got a partial decode," Helix called, his tablet glowing in the dark. "The signal mentions Project Serpent. Mean anything to you?" Viper froze. Serpent. Her call sign wasn't just a nickname. It was tied to her father's last mission, a classified op he'd never discussed. Her heart pounded. "Keep digging, Helix. I need everything." Sparrow's voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Viper, you know something, don't you?" She didn't answer. Not yet. The facility's main door slid open with a low hiss, revealing a dark corridor. No guards, no alarms, just an invitation. Viper's instincts screamed to retreat, but her father's voice echoed louder. "Find the truth, Amara." She gestured to her team. "We're going in. Stay tight, weapons ready." Hawk hesitated, then nodded. "Your call, Viper, let's do this." The squadron moved as one, their training overriding fear. The corridor was sterile, lined with smooth panels that hummed faintly. Viper led, her flashlight cutting through the gloom. The air grew colder, the hum louder. At the corridor's end, a massive chamber opened, filled with tech she didn't recognize, screens, consoles, and a central platform where the mystery craft's twin sat, its surface rippling. A figure emerged from the shadows, clad in black, face obscured. "Lieutenant Commander Cade," they said, voice low, familiar. "You were warned." Viper's grip tightened on her sidearm. "Who are you? Why me?" The figure stepped closer, their eyes glinting. "Because of your father, Project Serpent was his, and now it's yours." The words hit like a missile, and Viper's world tilted. The truth was here, and it was bigger than she'd ever imagined. The chamber was a cathedral of secrets, its walls lined with screens flickering with data streams Viper couldn't decipher. The mystery craft's twin loomed on the central platform, its liquid metal surface pulsing like a living thing. The figure in black stood motionless, their words about her father echoing in Viper's mind. Her squadron flanked her, weapons raised, but the air was thick with questions, not threats. The Viper insignia on her flight suit felt heavier, a link to a past she barely understood. "Who are you?" Viper demanded, her voice steady but her heart racing. "What's Project Serpent?" The figure tilted their head, their face still shadowed. "Your father called it the future. A new kind of flight, beyond jets, beyond limits. He was our first test pilot." Viper's breath caught. Her father, a test pilot for this. The craft before her was no prototype she'd studied at Top Gun. It was alien in its grace, defying physics. "He crashed," she said, her voice tight. "Mechanical failure, that's what they told me." A lie, the figure said. He flew too close to the truth, like you are now. Hawk stepped forward, rifle steady. Enough riddles. Start talking or we start shooting. The figure ignored him, their focus on Viper. You saw the flares, Cade. You knew what they meant. That's why you're here. She clenched her jaw. The flares, 3 short, 1 long, 2 short, were her father's code used in his final mission. She'd found it in his journal, dismissed as nostalgia. Now it was a beacon. Why me? She asked again. Why now? Because you're ready, the figure said. Project Serpent needs a pilot who can't be broken. Your father chose you. Sparrow's voice was a whisper. Viper, what's going on? Viper didn't answer. Her eyes were locked on the craft, its surface rippling faster now, almost calling her. She thought of her father's last words to her, whispered before his final flight. The sky's alive, Amara. Listen to it. She'd been 10, too young to understand. Now she felt it, the hum, the pull, the truth. Helix, any readings on that craft? She asked, buying time to process. Off the charts, Helix said, his tablet trembling in his hands. It's emitting some kind of quantum field. This isn't DARPA, this is something else. The figure stepped closer, their voice softening. Your father flew this craft, Cade. He saw what's beyond, you can too. Viper's mind reeled. Her squadron watched her, waiting for orders. Hawk's earlier mockery was gone, replaced by a wary respect. Sparrow's eyes were wide, trusting. Helix was still scanning, loyal to the end. This was her moment, her choice. The facility hummed, the craft pulsed, and the figure waited. Viper took a step toward the platform, her Viper insignia gleaming. Whatever Project Serpent was, it was her father's legacy, and now hers. She wasn't turning back. The chamber's air buzzed with energy, the mystery craft's hum resonating in Viper's chest. Her squadron stood behind her, their weapons still raised but their eyes on her, waiting for a signal. The figure in black watched, their silhouette sharp against the craft's eerie glow. Viper's mind churned, her father, Project Serpent, the flares. It was all connected, a thread stretching from her childhood to this moment. The Viper insignia on her chest felt alive, a pulse tying her to the past. Talk, Viper said, her voice low, commanding. What is this craft? What did my father do? The figure's eyes glinted, unreadable. Project Serpent was his vision, a craft that moves not through air but through space itself. Your father flew it, tested its limits. He saw what's out there. Out there, Hawk interjected, his rifle dipping slightly. What, like aliens? The figure's laugh was soft, chilling. Not aliens, possibilities, dimensions. The sky isn't just above you, Cade, it's a door. Viper's stomach twisted. Her father's journal had hinted at this, sketches of stars, equations she couldn't parse. She thought it was grief, madness. Now it was real. And the crash, she pressed. A cover, the figure said. He didn't die in a crash, he left. The craft took him. Left, Viper's voice cracked, her composure fraying. You're saying he's alive. The figure didn't answer, gesturing to the craft instead. Its hatch opened wider, the glow intensifying. Fly it, Cade, see what he saw. Sparrow stepped closer, her voice soft. Viper, this is crazy. We don't know what that thing is. She's right, Helix added, his tablet still scanning. This tech is beyond anything we've got, it's not safe. Hawk's eyes met Viper's, no trace of his earlier bravado. Your call, lead, but this feels like a one-way trip. Viper's gaze shifted to the craft. Its surface rippled, reflecting her Viper insignia like a mirror. Her father's voice echoed, the sky's alive. She'd spent years proving herself, outflying doubters, carrying his loss like a weight. Now the truth was within reach, but at what cost? Raptor Squadron, secure the chamber, she ordered. I'm going in. Viper, no, Sparrow grabbed her arm, her eyes wide. You can't. Viper gently pulled free, her expression soft but resolute. I have to, for him. She stepped toward the craft, the hum enveloping her. The figure nodded as if expecting this. The hatch was a void, promising answers or oblivion. Keep the jets ready, she told Hawk. If I'm not back in 10, get out. Hawk nodded, his jaw tight. We've got you, Viper. She climbed into the craft, its interior a seamless blend of light and shadow. The controls were alien yet intuitive, glowing under her touch. As the hatch closed, the hum became a song and Viper felt her father's presence. The sky wasn't just a battlefield, it was her destiny, and she was ready to fly it. The craft's interior was a paradox, smooth, organic, yet impossibly precise, like stepping into a living machine. Viper settled into the pilot's seat, its contours molding to her instantly. The controls glowed, a lattice of light responding to her touch. No joysticks, no dials, just an interface that felt like an extension of her mind. Her Viper insignia reflected in the glossy surface, a beacon in the dim. Her heart pounded, but her hands were steady. This was no F-18. This was something else entirely. Outside, her squadron stood guard, their silhouettes faint through the craft's translucent canopy. Hawk's rifle was raised, Sparrow's eyes wide with worry, Helix still scanning, loyal to the end. Viper toggled her comms. Raptor, lead to squadron, I'm inside. Stand by. Viper, you sure about this? Hawk's voice was tight, no trace of mockery now. That thing looks like it could eat you. Copy, Hawk, if it does, you're in charge. A faint smile tugged at her lips, but her focus was on the craft. The figure in black had vanished, leaving only questions. Project Serpent, her father, a door in the sky. She pressed a glowing panel and the craft hummed louder, vibrating through her bones. The interface lit up, projecting a starfield across the canopy. Not the Nevada sky, something vast, endless, speckled with unfamiliar constellations. Viper's breath caught. Her father's journal had described this. Stars that don't belong. The craft was responding to her, its system syncing with her thoughts. She felt it, speed, direction, intent, all at her fingertips. Helix, any readings? She asked, her voice steady despite the surreal. Raptor 4, it's spiking, Helix replied. Quantum energy off the scale. Viper, that thing's powering up. Before she could respond, the craft lifted, silent, smooth, no roar of engines. The chamber vanished, replaced by the desert sky, then nothing. Darkness. Stars. Viper's stomach lurched as the craft accelerated, not through air but through something else. Space, time, reality itself. Her HUD was useless, her training irrelevant. This was her father's world. Viper, report. Sparrow's voice crackled, faint, distorted. I'm here, Viper said, though she wasn't sure where here was. The starfield shifted, colors bleeding, blues, purples, impossible hues. A memory surfaced, her father teaching her to fly a Cessna at 16, his hand steady on hers. The sky's yours, Amara, he'd said. Now she understood. The craft stabilized, hovering in a void. A voice, her father's, whispered through the hum. You found it, Viper. Her eyes stung. Was it real? A recording? She didn't care. She was here in his legacy, flying where he'd flown. Raptor Squadron, I'm okay, she said, her voice breaking. I'm somewhere else. The stars pulsed and the craft's interface showed a destination, a point of light calling her. Viper took a breath, her Viper insignia glowing. She wasn't just a pilot now. She was a pioneer and the sky was hers to claim. The void was infinite, a sea of stars that didn't match any chart Viper knew. Her craft hung suspended, its hum a steady pulse in her bones. The interface glowed, feeding her images, planets, nebulae, structures floating in the black. None of it made sense, yet it felt right, like a dream she'd forgot. Her father's voice lingered, a faint echo. You found it, Viper. She gripped the controls, her Viper insignia a tether to her purpose. She was no longer in Nevada. She was beyond. Raptor, lead to squadron, she said, her voice steady but distant. Can you read me? Static, then Hawk's voice faint, warped. Viper, you're breaking up. Where are you? I don't know, she admitted. Stay sharp. I'll find a way back. The comms faded, leaving only the craft's hum. She was alone but not afraid. Her father had flown here, seen this. She could feel his presence in the craft's design, its intuitive grace. Project Serpent wasn't just tech, it was his vision, his sacrifice. The interface pulsed, projecting a path through the stars. A destination blinked, a structure orbiting a distant world, sleek, massive, alien. Viper's pulse quickened. Was this where her father had gone? She hesitated, her training screaming to retreat, to report. But she wasn't just a Navy pilot now. She was his daughter. She guided the craft forward, its movement effortless like thought made real. The stars blurred, time stretching, compressing. Her mind raced, memories of her father teaching her to read the sky, his laughter, his warnings. They'll hide the truth, Amara. Find it. She had. And now she was flying through it. The structure loomed closer, a lattice of light and metal, pulsing with the same rhythm as the flares. 3 short, 1 long, 2 short, her father's code. The craft docked silently, a hatch opening to a corridor of soft light. Viper stepped out, her boots echoing on a surface that wasn't steel, wasn't anything she knew. Her sidearm felt useless, but she kept it ready. A figure approached, not the one from the facility, but another, taller, clad in a suit that shimmered like the craft. Amara Cade, it said, voice calm, genderless. You were expected. Her breath hitched. Expected by who? Your father's legacy, the figure said. He flew for us, opened the door. Now it's yours. Viper's mind reeled. Us. She glanced at her Viper insignia, its coils a symbol of her resolve. Where's my father? Beyond, the figure said, gesturing to the stars. He's part of the network now, the system that binds this place. She didn't understand, but she felt the truth. Her father hadn't crashed, he'd transcended. The structure hummed, alive, and Viper knew she was part of it now. Not just a pilot, but a bridge between worlds. The sky wasn't her limit, it was her beginning, and she was ready to fly further. The corridor stretched endlessly, its walls shimmering with patterns that shifted like liquid starlight. Viper's boots echoed softly, each step a commitment to the unknown. The figure led her deeper into the structure, their suit reflecting the ambient glow, making them seem less human, more like a fragment of the place itself. Her Viper insignia was a faint reflection in the walls, a reminder of who she was, Amara Cade, pilot, daughter, seeker of truths. Who are you? She asked, her voice steady but laced with urgency. What is this place? The figure didn't turn, their voice a calm hum. We are the curators. This is a nexus, a point where realities converge. Your father called it the threshold. Viper's chest tightened. The threshold, her father's journal had mentioned it, a single word scrawled in trembling ink. She thought it was metaphor. Now she stood within it. And my father, you said he's part of it. He is, the curator said. His mind, his will, integrated into the network. He flies still in a way. Her eyes stung. Alive but not here, not human, she clutched her sidearm, grounding herself. Why me? Why now? You carry his spark, the curator said, pausing at a massive chamber. Its ceiling was a dome of stars, its floor a map of galaxies pulsing with light. The craft chose you as it chose him. Project Serpent was his gift to you. Viper stepped into the chamber, her breath catching. Consoles lined the walls, their screens showing Earth, her Earth, from angles no satellite could capture. Cities glowed, oceans churned, and above, her squadron's F-18s circled the desert, tiny specks against the night. She was light years away, yet tethered to them. What do you want from me? She asked, her voice a mix of defiance and awe. To fly, the curator said, to explore, to connect. The threshold needs pilots, those who can navigate the void. Your father was the first, you could be the next. Her mind raced. Her squadron, her career, her world, they were waiting. But so was her father's legacy. She thought of Hawk's grudging respect, Sparrow's trust, Helix's loyalty. She led them here, defied orders, chased the truth. Now it was hers to claim. Show me, she said, her voice firm. The curator gestured, and a new craft materialized, sleeker than the first, its surface etched with a viper's coils. Her insignia, her father's mark. She climbed inside, the controls alive under her touch. The stars beckoned, each a story, a world. Viper, you still there? Hawk's voice crackled through, faint, desperate. I'm here, she said, her heart heavy but sure. I'm coming back, but first I need to see this through. The craft hummed, the stars blurring as it launched. Viper felt her father's presence guiding her. The threshold was no end but a beginning. She was no longer just a pilot. She was a legacy, flying into the infinite, her Viper's coils etched across the stars. The craft soared through the void, stars streaking past like embers in a cosmic wind. Viper's hands danced across the controls, the interface responding to her thoughts as much as her touch. The Viper insignia on her flight suit glowed faintly, reflected in the craft's glossy interior. She was no longer in a cockpit but a conduit, linked to the machine, to the stars, to her father's legacy. The threshold's hum was a heartbeat, steady and alive. The curator's voice echoed through the craft, calm but distant. "You're approaching the first node, Cade, a test. Navigate it and you'll understand." "Understand what?" Viper asked, her eyes scanning the starfield. A structure loomed ahead, a lattice of light and crystal floating in the void. It pulsed with the same rhythm as the flares, three short, one long, two short. Her father's code, woven into the fabric of this place. "What he saw," the curator replied. "What he became." Her chest tightened. She thought of her squadron circling the desert waiting for her. Hawk's newfound respect, Sparrow's trust, Helix's quiet competence, they were her anchor. But this craft, this node, was her father's truth. She eased the controls, the craft gliding toward the structure. It wasn't flying, it was flowing like water through a stream. The node glowed brighter, its surface rippling with images. Earth, her F-18, her father's face, younger, smiling. Viper's breath hitched. "Is he here?" she whispered. "In a way," the curator said. "The threshold stores minds, memories, essences. He's part of it, guiding you." The craft docked with the node, a seamless merge. A flood of data poured through the interface, coordinates, languages, histories of worlds she couldn't name. Her father's voice broke through, clear now. "Amara, you're here. You made it." Tears stung her eyes. "Dad, where are you?" "Everywhere," he said, his voice warm, alive. "This place, its connection. I flew too far, stayed too long, but you can choose." "Choose?" She gripped the controls, the node's light enveloping her. "Choose what?" "To stay, to explore, or to return. The threshold needs you, but your world does too." Viper's mind reeled. Her squadron, her duty, her life, they were waiting. But the stars called, her father's legacy pulsing through the craft. She saw him in her mind, his steady hands, his quiet pride. She'd spent years chasing his shadow, proving herself. Now she'd found him. "I can't stay," she said, her voice breaking. "Not yet, they need me." "Then go," he said, "but you'll always find me here." The node released her, the craft pulling back. The stars slowed, the desert sky reappearing. Viper's heart ached, but her resolve was iron. She was Viper, pilot, daughter, bridge between worlds. The craft landed silently, her squadron rushing to her. Hawk's eyes were wide, Sparrow's relieved. Viper stepped out, her Viper insignia gleaming. She'd seen the truth, and she'd carry it home. The desert air was cold, sharp against Viper's skin as she stepped from the craft. Her squadron surrounded her, their faces a mix of relief and disbelief. The facility loomed behind, its lights dimming, as if retreating into secrecy. The mystery craft was gone, vanished into the night, but its hum lingered in her bones. Her Viper insignia caught the moonlight, a symbol of her journey, Earth, the threshold, her father's voice. "Viper, you okay?" Hawk asked, his voice softer than she'd ever heard. No mockery now, just concern. His rifle hung loose, his eyes searching hers. "I'm fine," she said, her voice steady but heavy with what she'd seen. "Status report." "Raptor 3, all clear," Sparrow said, her hands trembling but her gaze steady. "We thought we lost you." "Raptor 4, same," Helix added, his tablet still glowing with data. "That craft, it's gone, Viper, no trace." She nodded, her mind still half in the stars. The threshold, the node, her father's voice. It was real, but already fading like a dream she could only half recall. "Let's move. Back to the jets." They obeyed, their trust in her absolute now. The F-18s waited, their sleek forms a stark contrast to the alien craft she'd flown. As she climbed into her cockpit, the Viper insignia on her jet gleamed, grounding her. She was back, but changed. Raptor lead to base, she said, toggling her comms. Mission complete, returning to base. The response was immediate, furious. Raptor lead, you disobeyed direct orders. Report for debrief immediately. Copy, Viper said, unfazed. She'd faced the consequences, but she'd seen the truth. The sky wasn't just a battlefield, it was a gateway. Her father had shown her that. The squadron lifted off, their jets roaring into the night. Viper led, her hands steady, her mind racing. She thought of her father's words, "You can choose." She'd chosen to return to lead her team, but the threshold's call lingered. The stars above were no longer just points of light, they were doors waiting. "Viper, what happened in there?" Sparrow's voice was soft, almost reverent. Viper hesitated, then smiled faintly. "I found answers and more questions." Hawk chuckled, a sound of respect. "You're one hell of a pilot, Viper, always were." She didn't respond, but her chest warmed. The mockery was gone, replaced by something stronger, camaraderie earned through fire. The desert fell away below, the facility a fading speck. Viper's eyes lingered on the sky, her father's legacy alive in her. She'd fly again, maybe to the threshold, maybe beyond. But for now, she was Raptor lead, guiding her squadron home. The Viper insignia pulsed, a promise of what was to come. The sky was hers, and she'd never stop chasing it. Her father's truth was her strength, and she'd carry it into every mission, every star. The F-18s cut through the dawn, their contrails painting the sky as the first light kissed the desert. Viper's cockpit was a familiar haven, its dials and hum grounding her after the threshold's surreal embrace. Her squadron flew tight, their formation a testament to trust forged in the unknown. The Viper insignia on her jet gleamed, a silent vow to her father, to herself. She, seen beyond, but her duty was here. "Raptor lead to squadron, check in," she said, her voice calm but carrying the weight of what she'd learned. "Raptor 2, green," Hawk replied, his tone steady, respectful. The shift in him was palpable, no more jabs, just loyalty. "Raptor 3, green," Sparrow said, her voice stronger now, tempered by the night's chaos. "Raptor 4, green," Helix added. "Still processing that tech, Viper. You gonna tell us what happened?" "Soon," she promised. The threshold, the curators, her father's voice, they were hers to carry, not yet to share. She needed time to understand, to decide what it meant. The radio crackled, bass's voice sharp. "Raptor lead, you're on report. Land immediately for debrief. This isn't over." "Copy base," Viper said, her jaw tight. She knew the cost of defiance, court-martial, maybe worse. But she'd flown through the stars, heard her father's voice. No board of inquiry could take that away. The jets descended, Nellie's Air Force Base coming into view, its runways a stark contrast to the threshold's endless void. Viper's mind replayed the node, the starfield, the curator's words. The threshold needs pilots. She wasn't sure what she'd do next, report the truth, protect her squadron, or return to that cosmic door. But she'd face it as Viper. As they landed, ground crews swarmed, faces tense. Hawk climbed out, meeting her gaze with a nod. "Whatever's coming, we've got your back, lead." Sparrow joined them, her eyes bright. "You're not just a pilot, Viper, you're something else." Viper smiled faintly, touching her Viper insignia. "Just doing my job, Sparrow." Helix approached, tablet in hand. "I pulled some data from the facility's signal. It's encrypted, but it mentions you, Viper, by name." Her stomach twisted. The curators, Project Serpent, they'd chosen her long before the flares. Her father's legacy wasn't just a craft, it was a path. She led her squadron to the debrief hangar, the weight of their trust anchoring her. The sky above was turning gold, a new day breaking. She'd face the brass, tell them enough to protect her team, but keep the threshold's secret close. The Viper on her jet watched as she walked away, its coils a promise. She wasn't done with the sky. Not yet. Her father's voice lingered, guiding her. Amara Cade, Viper, was no longer just a pilot. She was a bridge to the stars, and her legacy was just beginning. The debrief hangar was a cold, sterile box, its fluorescent lights harsh after the desert's starlit embrace. Viper stood before a panel of officers, their faces a mix of skepticism and anger. Her squadron waited outside, their loyalty a silent shield. Her flight suit's Viper insignia was a quiet rebellion against the brass's glares. She'd seen the threshold, flown its craft, heard her father's voice. This room couldn't contain that truth. "Lieutenant Commander Cade," Colonel Grayson began, his voice clipped. "You disobeyed direct orders, led your squadron into restricted airspace, and engaged an unidentified craft. Explain yourself." Viper's posture was rigid, her eyes steady. "Sir, we detected an anomaly, flares, a craft, signals on a classified frequency. I made a tactical call to investigate." Grayson's eyes narrowed. "Flares, no such activity was reported. Your logs show nothing." She didn't flinch. "My logs may not show it, sir, but my squadron saw it. The craft was real and it wasn't ours." A murmur rippled through the panel. General Holt, a grizzled veteran with a scar across his cheek, leaned forward. "You're suggesting a breach in Zone 7. That's a serious claim, Cade." "I'm reporting what I saw, sir," Viper said, her voice calm but firm. She thought of the curators, the node, her father's voice. She couldn't tell them everything, not yet. They wouldn't believe her, and her squadron's safety came first. Hawk's voice echoed in her mind. "We've got your back." She'd protect them, even if it meant bending the truth. "The craft evaded us, used advanced stealth. We pursued to assess the threat, that's all." Grayson scoffed. "You expect us to believe you chased a ghost. Your record's solid, Cade, but this smells like a stunt." Her jaw tightened. She faced this before doubt, dismissal. Her call sign, Viper, was born from her precision, not her temper, but she felt it now. "With respect, sir, I've flown 300 combat hours. I don't chase ghosts." Holt's eyes softened just a fraction. "Your father was a good pilot, Cade, reckless but good. You're walking his path." The mention of her father stung, but she held his gaze. "He taught me to trust the sky, sir. That's what I did." The panel exchanged glances. Grayson scribbled notes, his pen sharp against the paper. "You're grounded pending investigation. Your squadron's on standby. Dismissed." Viper saluted, her Viper insignia catching the light. Outside, her team waited. Hawk clapped her shoulder, a rare gesture. "You did good, Viper." Sparrow hugged her, quick and fierce. "We're with you." Helix handed her a data chip. "From the facility. It's encrypted, but it's yours." She nodded, the chip heavy in her hand. The threshold secrets were hers to guard. The sky above was clear, calling her. Grounded or not, Viper knew her fight wasn't over. Her father's legacy lived in her, and she'd fly again, maybe to the stars, maybe home, but always as Viper. The Nevada sun beat down on the tarmac, its heat shimmering off the F-18s parked in neat rows. Viper stood outside the hangar, her flight suit unzipped, the Viper insignia on her chest a quiet defiance. Grounded. The word stung, but it couldn't cage her. She'd seen the threshold, felt its pull, heard her father's voice. No court-martial could erase that. Her squadron lingered nearby, their presence a silent vow. They'd faced the unknown together, and it had changed them. Hawk approached, his usual swagger softened. "Brass is gonna grill us, Viper. You sure about stonewalling them?" She met his gaze, her eyes steady. "I told them enough. The truth's too big for that room." He nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "You're one stubborn pilot, respect." Sparrow joined them, her rookie nerves replaced by a quiet strength. "What's next, Viper? They can't keep us grounded forever." "They won't," Viper said, her voice firm. "We've got work to do." She didn't elaborate. The data chip from Helix burned in her pocket, its secrets locked but calling. Project Serpent, the curators, the threshold. They were pieces of a puzzle she'd solve, with or without the Navy's blessing. Helix was last, his tablet tucked away. "I cracked a fragment of the chip," he said quietly. "It mentions a second site, coordinates in the Pacific, and your name, Viper, over and over." Her pulse quickened. Her father's legacy wasn't just the craft, it was a network, a mission. She thought of his journal, his warnings about hidden truths. She'd spent years proving herself, outflying doubters, carrying his loss. Now she carried his purpose. "Keep it quiet, Helix," she said. "We'll dig deeper off the books." He nodded, loyal as ever. The squadron stood together, the desert stretching around them, the sky above a vast promise. Viper's grounding was temporary, she'd fly again, whether in an F-18 or something beyond. The Viper insignia on her jet watched, its coils a symbol of her resolve. A distant rumble broke the silence, an F-18 taking off, its roar a reminder of her world. She thought of the threshold stars, her father's voice. "You can choose." She'd chosen her squadron, her duty, but the sky still called. The flares, the craft, the curators, they'd marked her just as her father had. "Raptor Squadron," she said, her voice low but clear. "We're not done. Whatever's out there, we'll find it together." Hawk grinned, a spark of his old fire returning. "Hell yeah, Viper." Sparrow's eyes shone. "Lead the way." Helix just nodded, ready. The sun climbed higher, the sky endless. Viper touched her Viper insignia, feeling her father's strength. The threshold was waiting, its secrets hers to uncover. She wasn't just a pilot anymore. She was a legacy, a bridge to the stars. And she'd fly until the truth was hers. The base was quiet at dusk, the desert sky bleeding red and gold. Viper sat alone in her quarters, the data chip on her desk, its weight heavier than its size. Her flight suit hung nearby, the Viper insignia catching the fading light. Grounded but not broken. She faced the brass, protected her squadron, and kept the threshold secret. But the chip held answers, and she couldn't ignore its call. She inserted it into her tablet, Helix's partial decrypt glowing on the screen. Coordinates in the Pacific, mentions of Project Serpent and her name, Amara Cade, woven through fragmented files. One phrase stood out: Serpent's heir. Her father's code, her call sign, her destiny. She leaned back, her mind racing. The threshold wasn't just a place, it was a mission, one her father had started and she'd inherit. A knock broke her thoughts. Hawk stood at the door, his usual bravado gone. "Viper, we need to talk. Squadron's worried. Brass is circling like sharks." She gestured him in, her expression calm. "Let them. We've got bigger problems." He raised an eyebrow, glancing at the tablet. "That chip," Helix said, "it's hot. You sure you want to keep digging?" "You saw that craft, Hawk. You heard the voices. This isn't just a mission, it's personal." Her voice was steady, but her eyes burned with resolve. She thought of her father, his journal, his crash that wasn't a crash. The Navy could ground her, but they couldn't stop her. Hawk nodded, sitting across from her. "You're different, Viper, since last night, like you've seen something we can't." "I have," she admitted, her voice soft. "And I need you with me, all of you." He studied her, then grinned. "You've got us always." Another knock, Sparrow and Helix, their faces a mix of loyalty and unease. Sparrow spoke first. "Viper, rumors are spreading. Pilots saying Zone 7's cursed. They're watching us." "Let them watch," Viper said. "We know the truth." Helix set his tablet down, new data scrolling. "The Pacific site, it's a deep-sea platform, classified off the grid, and it's active." Viper's pulse spiked. Another threshold, another craft. She stood, her Viper insignia a quiet fire. "We're going off the books, you in?" Sparrow hesitated, then nodded. "For you, Viper, yeah." Helix grinned. "I'm already hacking their comms." Hawk leaned forward. "You're crazy, Viper, but I'm in." The room hummed with their trust, their bond. The sky outside darkened, stars emerging. Viper felt her father's presence, his voice guiding her. "The sky's alive." The chip was a map, the threshold a door. She'd lead her squadron not just through the desert but to the stars. The Viper coiled, ready to strike. Her legacy wasn't just her father's, it was theirs, forged in the night, bound by the sky, and they'd fly it together. The Pacific stretched below, a black mirror under the moonless sky. Viper's F-18 led the squadron, their jets skimming low to avoid radar. The coordinates from the chip pointed to a deep-sea platform, a shadow in the ocean's heart. They slipped out of Nellie's under cover of night, fueled by Helix's hacks and their own defiance. The Viper insignia on Viper's jet gleamed, a beacon in the dark. This was no sanctioned mission, this was their truth. Raptor Squadron, stay low, radio silence and less critical, Viper ordered, her voice a low hum over the encrypted comms. Her grounding meant nothing now. The threshold's pull was stronger than any court-martial. Raptor 2 copy, Hawk said, his jet trailing hers. His respect was solid now, earned in the desert's fire. Raptor 3 copy, Sparrow added, her voice steady, a far cry from her rookie nerves. Raptor 4 copy, Helix said. I've got a faint signal from the platform, same encryption as Zone 7. Viper's grip tightened on the stick. The platform emerged on her HUD, a speck of light in the ocean's void. No markings, no defenses, just like the desert facility. Her father's code pulsed in her mind, 3 short, 1 long, 2 short. The threshold was calling. Raptor lead, visual on target, she said. Prepare for recon past 2,000 feet. The jets roared over the platform, its structure a maze of steel and shadow. A single craft sat on a central pad, identical to the one in Nevada, sleek liquid metal, silent. Viper's heart pounded. Another threshold craft, another piece of her father's legacy. Viper, you seeing this? Hawk's voice was hushed, reverent. Yeah, she replied, we're landing. Landing, Sparrow's voice cracked. Viper, we're AWOL if this goes south. It won't, Viper cut in, her tone iron. She'd flown through the stars, heard her father's voice. She trusted her instincts, and they screamed to go deeper. The squadron touched down, the platform's surface cold and unyielding. They dismounted, weapons ready, the ocean's hum a low drone. The craft's hatch was open, its glow beckoning. Viper led, her Viper insignia a guiding light. The platform was empty, eerily so, like the desert facility. No guards, no alarms, just the craft waiting. Helix, scan it, she ordered. Same quantum signature, he said, his tablet glowing. It's active, Viper, like it's waiting for you. She stepped toward the hatch, her squadron behind her. A voice crackled through her comms, not Hawk, not bases, her father's. Amara, you're close, keep going. Her eyes stung. Dad, she whispered. The craft hummed, its controls lighting up as she approached. Her squadron watched, their trust absolute. The ocean churned below, the sky above endless. Viper climbed inside, the Viper insignia pulsing. This was her path, her father's, her squadron's, her own. The threshold wasn't just a door, it was her destiny, and she'd fly it no matter where it led. The craft's interior was a mirror of the first, smooth, organic, glowing with a light that felt alive. Viper settled into the pilot's seat, the controls syncing with her touch, her thoughts. Her Viper insignia reflected in the glossy surface, a constant in this alien world. The hatch closed, sealing her from her squadron, but their trust lingered, a tether to her reality. The ocean's hum faded, replaced by the craft's steady pulse, like a heartbeat from the stars. Viper, you reading us? Hawk's voice crackled through, faint but steady. Copy, Hawk, she replied, her voice calm despite the surge of adrenaline. Stand by, I'm going in. Be careful, lead, Sparrow said, her voice soft but fierce. We're here. Viper nodded to herself, her hands gliding over the controls. The interface projected a new starfield, different from the Nevada node, brighter, denser, with a red dwarf pulsing at its center. Coordinates flashed, a destination deep in the void. Her father's voice echoed again, clearer now. Amara, this is the next step. Trust the sky. Her chest ached. She wanted to ask him everything, where he was, what he'd become, but the craft was moving, lifting silently from the platform. The ocean vanished, replaced by a kaleidoscope of stars. Time bent, space folded, and Viper felt weightless, untethered from Earth's rules. The threshold was no myth, it was her reality. The craft approached a new structure, a vast ring orbiting the red dwarf, its surface etched with patterns like her Viper insignia. It was beautiful, terrifying, alive. The interface pulsed, feeding her data, languages, histories, worlds connected by this ring. Her father's legacy wasn't just a craft, It was a network, a bridge across the cosmos. Viper, report. Helix's voice broke through, distorted by distance. We're losing your signal. I'm here, she said, her voice steady. I've found something. A ring, a hub, it's incredible. A new voice cut in, not her father, not the curator's female, commanding. Serpent's heir, you've arrived. Dock at the primary node. Viper's pulse spiked. Serpent's heir, her father's code, her destiny. Who are you? She demanded. A guide, the voice said. Your father opened the way, you'll expand it. The craft docked, the ring's light enveloping her. A hatch opened, revealing a chamber of crystal and light. Figures waited, not human but not alien, their forms shifting like the craft's surface. One stepped forward, its eyes reflecting her Viper insignia. Welcome, Amara Cade, it said. The threshold awaits. Her squadron's voices faded, but their trust held her. She stepped into the chamber, the stars above a map of possibilities. Her father's legacy was hers now, not just to carry but to build. The Viper coiled, ready to strike. Viper wasn't just a pilot, she was a pioneer, a bridge to the infinite. And she'd fly this path for her father, her squadron, and the sky itself. The chamber was a symphony of light, its walls pulsing with patterns that seemed to breathe. Viper stood at its center, her Viper insignia a faint glow against the shifting crystal. The figures around her, curators they'd called themselves, watched with eyes that held no judgment, only expectation. Their forms were fluid, human-like but not, their presence both alien and familiar. The threshold's hum was a constant, weaving through her thoughts, her father's voice a faint echo within it. Amara Cade, the lead curator said, its voice a harmony of tones. You've crossed the first threshold. The ring is yours to explore, to connect. Connect what? Viper asked, her voice steady but her mind racing. The chamber's screens showed galaxies, worlds, streams of data flowing like rivers. Her father's legacy was here, but its scope was overwhelming. The network, the curator said, gesturing to the stars. Worlds, minds, possibilities. Your father was the first to fly it. You're the next. Her chest tightened. She thought of her squadron waiting on the platform, their F-18s a lifeline to her world. Hawk's loyalty, Sparrow's growth, Helix's quiet brilliance, they were her anchor. But the ring, the threshold, was her father's dream and now hers. What do you need from me? She asked. To fly, the curator said. To learn to choose. The word echoed choose. Her father's voice had said the same. She stepped toward a console, its surface responding to her touch. Images flooded her mind, Earth from impossible angles, cities glowing, skis alive with craft like hers. She saw her father, younger, flying through this ring, his face alight with wonder. She felt his pride, his sacrifice. Viper, you still there? Sparrow's voice crackled, faint, desperate. I'm here, Viper said, her voice soft but sure. I've found everything. The curator gestured to a new craft, its surface etched with Viper coils, waiting at the chamber's edge. This is yours, Serpent's heir. It will take you further. Viper hesitated. Her squadron needed her, Earth needed her. But the stars called, her father's legacy a fire in her chest. She climbed into the craft, its controls familiar yet vast like the sky itself. The hatch closed, the ring's light enveloping her. The craft launched, stars blurring into streams of light. Viper, report. Hawk's voice was a lifeline, pulling her back. I'm okay, she said, her heart torn. I'm exploring, stay ready. The ring's network opened to her, a web of nodes, each a world, a story. She saw her father's path, his flights, his integration into this place. He wasn't gone, he was everywhere. Viper's hand steadied, her Viper insignia glowing. She'd fly this network, connect its worlds, but she'd return. Her squadron was her home, her strength. The threshold was her destiny, but Earth was her heart. She'd bridge them both, a Viper soaring through the stars, her.